It's tax day, April 15. What are 3 tax filing deadlines you need to have on your radar for right now? We've got that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. It's spring, and I know you're thinking, okay, tax season. Yes, and tax season is wrapping up. It's April 15, and that aligns with the tax filing deadline today. You guys know that April 15 has that reputation, but sometimes there's a holiday in Washington, D.C., and that pushes the deadline back a day. And if the 15th lands on a weekend, then that will push it back a day as well. But nope, Tuesday, April 15th, tax filing deadline. And yet there's a few tax deadline reminders that you need to have on your radar. Could be a review, but want to hit these 3 tax filing deadline reminders so that you don't miss out and have to end up paying some penalties. First reminder, you probably already know, but if you have not filed a tax return as of today, you need to file an extension. You can do so for free. It's no issue. Make sure you file that extension. That gives you an extra 6 months to file a completed tax return. So that means your tax return will be due October 15. But here's the reminder. That doesn't give you 6 more months to pay your taxes. And this is bizarre. If you've never encountered this or hadn't heard it before, then it's not going to make a lot of sense, because you might say, I don't even know how much I owe. I think I'm getting a refund. And you're telling me I need to pay my taxes by April 15? I don't have a completed tax return. I don't know how much to pay. Well, yeah, that's technically true. So therefore, if you need to file an extension and you think, hey, yeah, my tax picture's changed, or I might owe, you need to work with your CPA, hopefully your CFP. You've been doing planning, and get a sense for, do you think you're going to owe anything? And if so, make a payment when you file your extension. The extension gives you an extra 6 months to file your taxes, but not pay the tax. Tax is technically due when you earn it. And so throughout the year, that's why they want you to withhold or via quarterly estimated payments. But if you haven't paid in enough, and then you need to make a payment by April 15 in order to avoid more penalties. Those penalties, show you here, just a little bit each and every month, but they really can add up, and you want to avoid those penalties. So make sure, if you're filing an extension, make sure you make a payment with that extension to avoid those penalties. Second reminder, speaking of estimated payments, April 15 is also the first quarter estimated payment deadline for 2025. That's right, you're thinking about last year. Many people are still planning for last year, but we're already into this year, a full quarter. First quarter estimated payments are due April 15. Second quarter, not until June 15. Third quarter, September 15. Fourth quarter, you've got all the way until January 15. So know that schedule. But here's the trick. Here's the issue, I should say. Especially if you're starting a business or your business is growing, you can really get in a tax cash flow kind of doom loop here, where you're trying to get your taxes done for last year by April 15, and you find out you owe, maybe you weren't planning, and you weren't planning for the cash flow either. You find out you owe last year's taxes. But the business is growing, and so not only do you owe last year's taxes, whether you're filing an extension or not, you now have to make your first quarterly estimated payment by the same time, April 15. And if your revenue is growing and you're projected to grow in 2025, then you're needing to pay last year and increase how much you're paying for this year, and it really can get you in a bind. Oftentimes we see that with small businesses, ones that are just starting out, but you can see it with individuals as well. And so have this on your radar screen, be proactive, work with your CFP and your CPA to make sure that you file the right amount of estimated payment and pay the right amount by April 15. And then finally, last reminder, I've shared this before, there's 3 questions you need to ask yourself every time you're filing a tax return. And since today's the deadline for you to make sure it's filed, if you haven't answered the 3rd question, it's time to ask it of yourself. Work with your CFP to answer it. And first question, just kind of hit all three of them. First question is, before you file your tax return, do you understand why the return turned out the way that it did? Okay, and you don't need to be a tax expert, but yep, that's my wages, this is the interest income, that, yes, it has all my bank accounts, that's the dividend income that I have, that's my Social Security, all that sort of stuff. Do you understand why the return turned out the way that it did? This simple pause confirms that you didn't miss anything, confirms that you caught all your deductions, caught all the right credits, that it's an accurate tax return. Second question is, then before I file last year's return, is there anything that I can do right now to improve it before I file? Things like HSA, Roth IRA, 529, we've shared those lists before. That's the second question. Now to the third question, which is the third reminder that I have for you on tax filing deadline, and that is anything changing in your financial life for this upcoming year, for 2025, that needs to impact your tax planning right now? Because even though I mentioned there's a few things that you can do at the 11th hour, right up until your tax filing deadline to improve the previous year, HSA, traditional IRA, Roth IRA, 529, a few things, SEP IRA, a few things like that. There's a lot more that you can do throughout the year. And even though we're past the first quarter and a little bit into the second quarter, we still have a lot of 2025 ahead of us, so that you can take a look and say, well, what should I be doing a little bit differently so that when I file my tax return next year, I'm in a better spot even, right? Well, one of the sayings we have around here is tax planning is all about helping you pay the least amount of tax over your lifetime. And therefore, is there anything proactively that you can do right now, tweaking in your tax planning, so that you can apply for the rest of the year to put yourself in a better position to pay the least amount of tax over your lifetime next tax season? You've got to do that as well. And that's where the planning comes in. So work with your certified financial planner on that. They're a geek. They love creative tax planning work. And so make sure you're working with them to see which of those strategies apply to you. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.